All right, we have to talk about the new article that came out basically confirming that Tesla is going to sell a new Model Y standard range. So this was on Twitter, it was on different sites. There was apparently an internal email sent out to confirm this. We've seen other articles that was predicting that this may happen, and this is really interesting and might actually be a better deal than we think. So it starts at $60,000 standard range, all-wheel drive, and is going to come with a few different upgrades. So won't read this word by word. Happy to link the article in the description, but generally we kind of need to think about what this means. So today, if we go to Tesla's website and order a Model Y, the question would be is, do you want the standard range or should you order the long range, which is using the current battery technology, non-structural battery pack? It's the Model Y that we've had for some time. And generally, when you default to the site, it says 318 miles of range, which basically has the new wheels. And if we do the included wheels, this is the least expensive version at 63,000. So it's $3,000 difference, which is a lot less than we've seen with the rear wheel drive Model 3 in the long range, which has been anywhere from $6,000 to $9,000 difference. So the question is it worth it? I was expecting personally for this price to be significantly lower. I was expecting to be a rear wheel drive version, lower range, and a price point of about 55K or less to kind of align with how they've priced things in the past. However, let's look at the demand. Basic economics will tell us this is unprecedented demand. Model Y is the most popular model globally, and you're not going to get one for almost a year for new orders placed today, at least in Arizona. Many places are saying throughout the United States and others, it is completely sold out for the rest of the year. And something to think about is for 3,000 less, so 59K, 59.9, is it worth it? And so this new model is going to be at 279 range, and there's more to it than that. So something to think about. This long range Y, you'll be advised in general to keep your car roughly, in most cases, for longevity of the battery, charged to 80%. So if we do think about that, that's 264. This new Model Y standard range at 279 is likely, my prediction is going to be leveraging a similar battery chemistry, whether it's brand new, it's going to be similar to the LFP where you can charge to 100%, which would actually put the new Model Y at a higher day-to-day range with low impacts to the battery. And if it is based off of that, because I can't imagine the standard range Model Y coming out with a battery technology that is under par with the current rear wheel drive Model 3, is in my last video, I went through detail that the LFP battery is a 1,000,000-mile battery. You'll get near 1,000,000 miles because the charge and discharge cycles of that technology is significantly higher than the nickel-based battery that's currently found in all the long-range vehicles across X, Y, the Model 3 long range, and the Model Y performance and long range vehicles. Is this new car will have a lot of upgrades. So for 3,000 less, you're basically going to get the same day-to-day range, if not a little bit more. You get to charge to 100%. And with that, the regenerative braking will still work, which on this car, if you charge to 100 for a road trip, the regenerative braking does not work for like the first 5 to 6% of your battery. It's actually kind of weird and annoying. It's a minor thing. However, this is also going to have a few other benefits as well. So if we look through the article, it looks like it's actually going to be a similar 0 to 60 time of 5 seconds versus 4.8. You really won't notice that difference. And then you're going to get some new functionality, which is a magnetic center console armrest and a parcel shelf. Not sure what that means, but it seems like there may be extra utility with the vehicle. And at the minimum, there's also going to be because it's a structural battery pack, it's going to be safer. It's going to be lighter, just slightly. And the battery is going to last longer. And then because it's part of the vehicle, this is also using the mega casting. So the entire structure of the vehicle, while it may not visually look different, it's going to have a more rigid body. So the driving feel may actually be a little bit different. I don't anticipate any changes to the sound system like there is with the standard range or what they call just the Model 3 versus the long range. So this is going to be nearly identical. You'll have less peak range, which right now, honestly, like people charging to 100%, like it's going to kill your battery very quickly if you do that all the time. That's why they recommend it to 80%. But you're going to get a lot of additional benefits from this. So this is almost like a new technology, long range, in my opinion, since your day-to-day charge will be near 280 miles. You're going to actually potentially have a much better paint job because this is built out of the Gigafactory in Austin, which is using new paint technology. So they may add new colors over time. There's no urgency for them to do that at the moment, since these colors will, any new colors, any thing they do to spike demand. They just are ramping production right now. And this was actually an interesting topic of like, once they released the new battery cell, so the 4680, which really describes the dimensions of the battery cell, like 46 millimeters by 80 millimeters versus the 2170 batteries, which are 21 millimeters by 70. So it's just a larger cylindrical shape. Was how are people going to decide if you order a Model Y long range now? Are you going to get the 4680 or are you going to get the previous technology? And so this is so genius of them to say, we're actually just going to build it all on a new model that never existed before. So all of them go that route, and to not cannibalize sales will lower their range. It'll help increase their margin. And over time, as they can ramp up to hundreds of thousands of vehicles per year and hopefully get to 1 million vehicles a year of here, as well as their new factory in Berlin, and they're opening new gigafactories around the world, we will hopefully get to a point where you can get a car and not have to wait a year or 6 months, because that's driving the price as well. So many people who bought a car in the last 6 months are able to resell it for more than they paid. And that's been tough to bring the price down, as Tesla has trended lower until we ran into massive supply chain issues, inflation issues, then they're getting pressure from their suppliers. This is all in a pathway where until demand subsides based on supply, and hopefully the lowering of inflation on all of the suppliers, we're going to see these high prices for some time. The good news is this is the beginning of how they're going to get to a point where these can become more affordable. For those of you that are looking recently, just to give you an idea, this may not make you happy, is this car at 63,000 back in like February, March was under 50,000. There's literally almost a $15,000 increase since its lowest point that it got for a couple of weeks. And it's been a slow increase ever since. Like every month, there's 1 to 2 price increases. And this is happening not just with Tesla, like across the board, EV startups, gas cars. So in general, I'm a fan. Like if I was in the market for a Y, I would totally wait for this standard range. We don't know yet what the delivery timing is. Their ramp period is slow, so there could be an influx of orders, yet they're only able to produce a few hundred a week. Let's say that'll slowly increase. However, this should be much better build quality, much better battery tech. You'll get some new functionality. And really, if the only loss is 0.2 seconds, 0 to 60, and a little bit of peak range, when your day-to-day is exactly the same, if not more, and safer, that's going to be the buy. I would highly recommend saving the $3,000 for a better car. And potentially, if the demand is so crazy and more people find out how much better of a vehicle and how much the upgrades are worth it, you could see that car selling for the same price as the current long range, or potentially more, depending on what we learn with the specs when they come out and any other benefits we're not aware of with these new 4680 cells. So that's my thoughts on it. I think this is going to be really exciting. We'll see what happens when this finally debuts later this month. And if you are in the market for that, that's the one that I would wait for. But to each his own, and best of luck to you when ordering. All right, take care.